Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, Pakistan's tour to Sri Lanka, 2-test match series is going to take place. We've got a couple of days remaining. Now the tour commences on 16th of July. Both matches are part of the World Test Championship cycle for the new year as well. So we've got to think about the factors that are involved in making sure that Pakistan reaches the final of the World Test Championship cycle, because I think that is something that needs to be prioritized in our part of the world. We talk about other developing nations where even their women's team is playing Ashes as well. So I think we really got to prioritize Test cricket in our part of the world as well. So we'll talk about that. Then we move on to the ICC World Cup Qualifiers. Well, Nepal beat United States of America by 6 wickets. West Indies is up against Nepal. They've set a 340-run target for Nepal to chase it down as well. And now discussing things in detail, we've been joined by our guests in studios. First of all, joining us is cricket commentator and cricket expert Kashif Shabbir. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam. All well.
Great to have you on the show. We've also been joined by cricket analyst, sports expert as well, Mr. Ali Abbas. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmad. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Now, Kashif, we talk about this Pakistan's tour to Sri Lanka, the start of the new World Test Championship cycle as well. But we want to see Pakistan perform well and eventually play the final. It's a long shot, but achievable. This has got to be the first order of business considering conditions in Sri Lanka. How are you seeing this tour?
I was just looking at the team. I think the team of Pakistan is very good. It is a very competitive team. The combination is very good, especially if you talk about the batting side. I think Pakistan has a very strong batting side and well led by Babar Azam, followed by Rizwan, definitely. And if you talk about the bowling side, led by Shaheen Shah Afridi, Amir Jamal, Hassan Ali is making his comeback, then Naseem Shah is in his supreme form. I think Pakistan has a very good combination. Pakistan has a chance of making a very good start for the World Cup Championship. And you rightly said that if Pakistan wants to enter into the final of this World Championship, which is going to be held in 25, Pakistan has to make a very good start. And fortunately, Pakistan is given this opportunity by playing in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's batting condition plus the conditions are very favorable for Pakistan because they are very similar to what the situation we have in Pakistan. So I think it is going to be a very good series for Pakistan. If the batting side they perform well, Pakistan has a very bright chance to win this bilateral series.
Well, interestingly, when you talk about this, then we do believe that conditions tend to upset Pakistan somewhat or not. Ali Abbas particularly, we're so much focused on our batting and our ability to play spin that we forget the fact that if you want to win test matches, you've got to take 20 wickets, something that Pakistan has been missing in test cricket since quite a while now.
Exactly. I mean, it is the start of the World Test Championship, and we have to erase a lot of bad memories and a lot of bad experiments that we did in the last series, ranging from how we prepared the pitches to how we were struggling to pick up 20 wickets to not getting enough runs on the board. We made a lot of mistakes in the previous cycle for the World Test Championship, where all of the fixtures, all of the series that we did receive from the ICC were favorable to us, as majority of them were at home. So I think if you needed to do, if there was a catharsis that needed to be carried out, there's a lot of evidence to look at over there and know exactly where we need to improve. With this series in particular, when it comes to Sri Lanka, I think it was one of our highlights in the previous cycle when we visited Sri Lanka. I think it was 3 test matches that we played. I think it ended in a draw of 2 or 3 test matches. I'm forgetting, but I do remember it ended up, the series ended up being drawn. I remember that Pakistan chased down a really high total. Abdullah Shafiq had a really good series. Babar Azam had a really good series. Sri Lanka is not an easy place to play. It's going to be a trial by spin. They're going to prepare wickets. They're going to prepare wickets that suit them. But it's important for Pakistan to start off on a very positive note. And it's good that we're getting a series that we played relatively well when we toured Sri Lanka last year. So I think everything is falling in place for Pakistan for this series in particular because they've had a bit of rest. There's no, I would say there isn't a lot of impact of T20 cricket because we have been away from that for a while. All of the players have had enough time to just sit back, relax, and finally, just focus on cricket. So I'm pretty confident that we will end up winning the series.
Well, we need to be confident. I think that's the first order of business. But then again, like Ali also mentioned, it's going to be a trial against their spin bowling as well. So credit to Sri Lanka, Kashif, because there's been a young side for quite some time now, but they've developed fantastically into cross-format players.
Yes, they are developing, but I think the emphasis of Sri Lankan team has always been towards one-dayers and T20s. They are a good side when you talk about Test cricket, but when you compare it with the Pakistan side, I think Pakistan is the more experienced bunch of cricketers, and we have a very strong side. I will again say that if you talk about Pakistan, our main emphasis or our main focus will be on the batting side, because all our batters are in their supreme form. And when you talk about T20, most of the players who are playing for the Test cricket in Pakistan, most of them, they are not in the T20 side. So I'm sure that Pakistan, once they'll go to Sri Lanka, they'll be focusing primarily on their batting side. And when you talk about the spinning department, yes, that is the weakness that Pakistan has, because in the side we only have two spinners, Ibrar Ahmad and Noman Ali. Exactly. We don't have the quality spinners that should have been taken to Sri Lanka. The likes of Yasir Shah is missing for Pakistan. So Pakistan would primarily be focusing on the batting plus on their pace attack. And pace attack would be led by Shaheen Shah Afridi. So I think Pakistan is in a position. Now, it totally depends on what sort of wickets the Sri Lankans do they prepare for this series. I'm sure they'll be focusing more on their strengths, and their strength is definitely the spin attack and their batting side. So let's see what best come for Pakistan in this series.
Absolutely. There have been certain inclusions into the side as well, Ali Abbas. Particularly, let's talk about Mohammad Huraira. Youngsters played 24 first-class matches. He's got an average of 68.2, which is remarkable for his age. And I've seen him technically as well batting. He's a class apart. You know, it might be a good chance for somebody, because we've always talked about the fact that we need to prioritize players for Test cricket.
Yeah, and Huraira is one name that has been making rounds throughout the Pakistan cricketing infrastructure. I think starting from the under-19 World Cup all the way to what he has done in domestic cricket. I don't think he'll be getting a game in this series, if I'm being honest with you, but the fact that he gets to share the dressing room with the Pakistani team amongst other senior players in an away series is definitely going to play a huge role in terms of his exposure. So I think it's nice that they were able to include Huraira. Other than that, I mean, they might bring in youngsters, but I don't really see them getting a game. So the only positive that I do see for Huraira right now is getting to share the dressing room, learning a few tricks of the trade from the likes of Sarfaraz Ahmad and Babar Azam in the dressing room. I know Hassan Ali probably gets into that squad as well. So, there are quite a few senior players that you can pick up a few small things to learn. And that's definitely a positive. Other than that, I think in terms of the spinners, I know Kashif mentioned about Ibrar and Noman, and I do agree with him, but I think we've been a little harsh on our spinners as well in terms of the, I would say, pathetic wickets that we prepared in the previous cycle of the World Test Championship. I'm sorry if I use that word, pardon my French on that, I apologize, but that was the state of the wickets. We just wanted to tire our bowlers, break their backs and injure their knees. That is what we tried to do. They're definitely going to be offered something a little bit more in the series against Sri Lanka, so I hope they live up to their potential. They haven't done that yet. There's still a lot of for them to do to improve, but I think in terms of them being average, the PCB also played a huge role in terms of how they undermined our spinners, with Ibrar Ahmad being one of them.
Absolutely. Particularly the spin department is something. How can we improve this, Kashif? Because I think fast bowlers have been a priority. We've been on the hunt for pace. The PSL has further glamorized this as well, but we've got to be honest with ourselves. We've not been able to focus on development of a spinner since quite some time now.
I think we have been very much confused when we talk about the format or the combination of team. If you go back and look at the domestic side, and if you talk about the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy, in the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy we prepare quality wickets, we prepare green tracks on which gives full support to the fast bowlers. And when you come to the international cricket, then you have all these dead wickets available for the players. So we need to have a direct focus on what kind of players do we want to produce, one. Secondly, what kind of wickets are we going to make for the international cricket? Same pattern should be followed in the domestic cricket. I think that is where the fault comes in. If you don't have quality wickets for the domestic circuit, you don't prepare those quality players. Secondly, I think it is all about the coaches. We don't have those quality coaches that can extract the talent from the domestic side. So first we need to have good quality coaches. Secondly, we need to have good wickets, so that kind of talent should be produced in Pakistan.
Talent is one thing, then the skill level is something that we're also focusing on. But Kashif, what about prioritizing players for formats?
Yes, I think if you ask me, I think there should be two different teams. One for the test matches and the one-day internationals, and one totally separate team for T20. I don't see a major difference in test cricket and one-day cricket, because the format has almost been, very similar when you talk about test cricket and one-day crickets. So there should be two teams, one for the T20s, one for the other format. Now, let's talk about T20. Our problem is that all the players that you are getting for test matches, they have been extracted from T20, that is from PSL. So if your criteria is PSL and if you are selecting players for test match, then you will get these quality players. Now the issue is that you need to go back to your domestic system. You need to prioritize your domestic system. You need to give strength to the Qazi-Azam Trophy, to the national squad. Only then you will be able to find players for different format. If you don't change the format, if you work on the domestic side, then you will keep on finding the same kind of players. For example, is Dhani. Dhani was selected from PSL. He was selected for the test matches, but he did not get an opportunity to play any of the test match. Same is the case with other players. What about Shan Masood? Shan Masood, we are totally confused whether Shan Masood is for the test side or for T20.
I think Shan himself is confused.
No, we are confused because Shan Masood is a pure opener, but we told him that he can only be selected in the squad if he plays at number 3 or number 4. So he went back to county, played at number 4, tried to focus on that position, tried to create a name for himself so that he can be selected for the test squad. He has been included in the test squad for a year and a half, but he has not been given any opportunity to play in this test series. What about Sarfaraz Ahmad? Sarfaraz Ahmad is included in the team, and now in this squad for the Sri Lanka, vice captain is Rizwan. So Rizwan definitely will be playing for Pakistan in Sri Lanka. If Rizwan is playing, there is no opportunity for Sarfaraz Ahmad. So why to take Sarfaraz Ahmad along? You can you can give an opportunity to some new talent, to a youngster, so that he can have that experience of dressing room, and he can have the experience of test matches.
Yes, Ali Abbas. It's a true argument though.
Yeah. I think Sarfaraz will play. Based on what he did in the New Zealand series, you cannot be dropping Sarfaraz. So I think that's a short selection. I do understand that if Rizwan is the vice captain, how do you keep him away from the team? So yes, if Sarfaraz Ahmad does manage a few good performances, and I hope he does.
Look, you can play both. So let's be honest about that.
But I think that's where you probably need to think that is there place for both Rizwan and Sarfaraz in the team?
Exactly.
Has Rizwan done enough to outplace many of the other players that are sitting in the dressing room who deserve to be a part of the starting 11? I think he has not. I think you either play Rizwan or you either play Sarfaraz. So in my opinion, Sarfaraz is definitely going to play, and Rizwan, I think if Sarfaraz has a really good test series, which I think he will, because he's on one, right? You can feel it with Sarfaraz Ahmad. He's on this comeback trial, and I think the test format, especially in Sri Lanka, where there's a lot more spin, where the ball is keeping low, it suits him more to his skills. We know that he has his struggles against pace, but against spin, there are not many better than him, especially in the lower order. So Sarfaraz Ahmad is definitely going to play, and that does put more pressure on Rizwan. But then, the way this team is set up, certain friendships have been formed. Even if that is one way Rizwan can be a part of the team for the next year or so, by him remaining vice captain, he will remain vice captain. It's unfortunate, but I think that is the setup that we need to prepare for in Pakistan cricket, where the vice captain might be on the bench for the next maybe 6, 7, 8 months, or maybe the entirety of this World Test Championship cycle.
Kashif, one particular thing we see now is Pakistan's bowling lineup, because obviously new ball you can expect to be shared between Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah with that bowling pair. Then your third option becomes very important. Although you have the experience of Hassan Ali, but like I mentioned earlier, Amir Jamal is somebody I'm very, very interested to see in a test match.
But if you ask me, I would rather go for Hassan Ali rather than going for Amir Jamal. Why? Because Hassan Ali is more experienced. Hassan Ali has, more swing in his ball as compared to Amir Jamal. I think Amir Jamal is more of a wide ball bowler as compared to the test bowler. I haven't seen him playing in the test matches, but we will be having the opportunity of seeing him in the test match in Sri Lanka. But coming back to Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah, obviously these are two main contenders for Pakistan when you talk about the pace, and the third one is going to be Hassan Jamal. But the only plus that Amir Jamal has for the Pakistan squad is his batting ability. Hassan he is almost an all-rounder. So if Pakistan plans to go with an all-rounder, then definitely Amir Jamal has the ability, has the potential, and has the capability of overpassing Hassan Ali. But coming back to the spin attack, I think that is the weakness of Pakistan. Noman Ali and Ibrar Ahmed, these are the two only available.
Salman Ali Agha as well.
Plus Salman Ali Agha, exactly. So I think that is the weakness of Pakistan, and definitely Sri Lanka is going to try and exploit that weakness for Pakistan, because they know that if they prepare strong wickets, if they prepare green tracks, that is going to be favorable for Pakistan, and that would go against the Sri Lankan team.
Ali Abbas, Hassan Ali or Amir Jamal?
I'd go with Hassan Ali purely based on experience. I think Amir Jamal is a prospect. There's no denying that. His batting ability helps as well, but I think Hassan Ali can slog a bit at the end as well. So purely based on the experience, the first test match, I think Hassan Ali would be playing. Based on that, maybe Amir Jamal does get a game, because Hassan Ali has had his issues with fitness. So if he isn't up to the mark, or if he faces some more back issues, Amir Jamal might come in. But for this test series in particular, I think it's going to be Hassan Ali. What we do need to realize is that we need to look at this World Test Championship on a whole, and Amir Jamal also should acknowledge the fact that he might get an opportunity in one of the coming test series, right? So it's important for the players not to just look at the Sri Lanka series. They should look at the whole World Test Championship cycle and just choose their battles well and not really feel bad about a lot of things. If Amir Jamal does not get a game, he should still continue to work hard. He might be playing in Australia by the end of the year. Those tracks that he might definitely enjoy them more with their assistance to pace bowling. So all of the players that are part of the team, I hope majority of them do stick with the squad till the end of the World Test Championship cycle, and they're going to get opportunities. So if it's Hassan Ali right now, Amir Jamal, I think that test call-up or that first test cap is not too far down the line for him.
Well, that's interesting, because you rather stick with experience, somebody who can bowl longer spells. That's what would be needed in these conditions, and particularly the focus will be on Pakistan's spin attack, because most probably they will be turning tracks in Sri Lanka. Traditionally they have been. A talk about Babar Azam, Kashif, once again a lot of reliance on the skipper. He's very positive, he's always been positive, but I think on a personal level as well, he's enjoying his batting so far, enjoying the captaincy, so it's going to be a very interesting series for him.
It is going to be very interesting, and if you look at the batting side of Pakistan, as I said earlier, Pakistan has a very strong batting side. But what about Shan Masood? Where are you going to fix Shan Masood? Is he going to be coming at number 4, number 5, opener? Where? I still am very, I still don't have the words to say where Shan Masood is going to fit in, because Imamul Haq and Abdullah Shafiq, both are very good openers, and they are performing well for Pakistan, followed by Babar Azam and Rizwan. And if you're playing with Sarfaraz and Rizwan, then absolutely no position for Shan Masood. But I think opportunity should be given to Shan Masood, because I personally like him play, and I want him to be in the side, because if he can perform in county cricket, if he can perform abroad, why not in Pakistan, why not in Sri Lanka? He has the talent, he has the potential, so Pakistan need to fix him as well. Plus Salman Ali Agha, a very good batting prospects for Pakistan, plus he is an all-rounder, he can perform well with the ball as well, he is a good off-break bowler, and most of the players in Sri Lanka, they are left-handers. So if you have left-handed batsmen, then off-break bowler is always a plus for the team. So Salman Ali Agha is a very good prospect. Then Mohammad Nawaz is also included in the team. So if Mohammad Nawaz is playing, you have an additional a spinner in the side. So that is again a plus for Pakistan. So all in all, I think Pakistan has a very good combination. Pakistan has a very compact team which is suitable for those kind of pitches. I still believe that the Sri Lankan wickets are not strange for Pakistan, because they'll be very much similar to what the tracks we have in Pakistan. Maybe they can give an additional benefit to the spinners, but if that is given to the spinners, Pakistan know how to play spin attack, because Pakistani players, they are very good against the spin attack as compared to the fast bowling attack. So if you ask me, I think Pakistan has a favorable chance in Sri Lanka as compared to the Sri Lankans themselves.
Yes, they definitely do, and that's what's interesting about this series as well, that Pakistan, although they're going to be banking on their strength and experience, But Sri Lanka can surprise any side, as they did to Australia as well. So that's something you got to worry about as well. But nonetheless, it will be a very, very interesting series. We now move our focus to the ICC World Cup Qualifiers, where Nepal beat USA. They were terrific. This Nepalese team has been surprising a lot of us. They're up against the West Indies now. So Ali Abbas, I think if we talk about some of the emerging nations in world cricket, Nepal has got to be one of them.
Absolutely, and it's a little harsh in terms of how these emerging nations are not getting a lot of revenue from the ICC in terms of how it's distributed out. I know there have been a lot of steps taken to focus on their cricket, but performances like these and seeing a team like Nepal that have had its own share of homegrown talent, Sandeep Lamichhane being one of them, they've had their own fair share of homegrown talent that has made a lot of rows in the international arena. So on one, if you look at it from one perspective, it's really nice to see these teams doing well, but from the other perspective, a more negative perspective, it's sad to see how ICC is not entirely focused on the growth of cricket in these regions, because if you really want to make cricket a global sport, these are the kind of nations that you need to heavily invest in. But unfortunately, the revenue is being generated from somewhere else, the priority is also something else, and it's not good for cricket in the long run. But enjoying the moment that we have, a lot of credit to Nepal in terms of how they've conducted themselves.
Absolutely.
In these qualifiers.
They're 81 for 4 in 20 overs. They're chasing a target of 340 runs been set by the West Indies, if you talk about their current scenario. But it's interesting, Kashif, when you think that the West Indies and Sri Lanka have got to play a qualifier to qualify for the World Cup.
Yes, interesting and very shameful for the team, especially for West Indies. I mean, the West Indies of 70s, West Indies of 80s was absolutely something else. But coming back to the Nepalese team, you were saying that they are very good. Maybe they are good, but their main test would be against the quality teams like West Indies, Sri Lanka, and maybe Scotland and Ireland as well. So as you said that they are 81 for 4, I think they are under a real test against West Indies. West Indies is a very strong team. Definitely they'll be qualifying from their pool, and from the other pool it is going to be, most probably it is going to be Sri Lanka coming for the World Cup.
Sri Lanka and the West Indies, particularly teams that you want to see in ICC tournaments. In Ali Abbas, majority we've seen Sri Lanka playing almost the semi-finals of every ICC tournament.
We have. I think Sri Lanka does surprise me in terms of where they are. The West Indies don't. I think they just don't have anything in their house which is in order. The fact that they can even gather 11 players to play in an international game for the West Indies is itself a huge achievement. Something that Darren Sammy was able to do, but it doesn't really surprise me. And the kind of downfall, I know Kashif bhai was mentioning the 70s, and I mean the legacy that the West Indies team has, no one can even take that away from them. But in terms of how the downfall has been, it's sad. I still hope we get to see them in the World Cup, but even if they do end up there, it's going to be pretty shambolic.
Primarily, it's been the relations with the cricket board and the players. Yeah. I think there's been no other problem than that.
Inconsistent.
I think inconsistent, and with this money, right? So the main factor in terms of what happened with West Indies cricket, you can blame the cricket board, that you should, but it's been all about the money. So I think generally cricket is going through a period where it's tricky. We're trying to hold on to certain values that did exist in the past.
Right, definitely. Ali Abbas and Kashif, thank you very much for joining us. That wraps it up from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.